So yesterday I did something that up until yesterday I was scared to do, or I was afraid to do, and that is make a decision that I thought was or would have been too risky a decision and too damaging or wrong, basically, like it would have been a wrong decision. And it's to do with that thing, that work that I keep referring to here, that is writing a guide, which is what I thought I was doing and what I wanted to do or thought I wanted to do, and maybe at one point months ago I actually genuinely did want to do in theory. And then for like a couple of months at least, yeah, good couple of months, really, really struggled. In fact, hardly did any work, and the deadline was looming and approaching, and I was like, I still had time and I probably could have pulled it off, but I just had the biggest no. And I don't know if I mentioned in the last um, video that I'm a generator, human design language. I'm a pure generator, and I'm a sacral being, as they're called as well, meaning as I discovered this modality, I suppose, a self-discovery tool like astrology, but just, yeah, a bit different, although it does incorporate astrology. I discovered it like a year and a half ago. I have been just fascinated by it, and I've been applying it, studying, learning, and experimenting with it, and just considering myself very much through that lens. And one of the key things there, it's in many ways it's so complex, and at the same time, it's if you kind of figure out this one thing, that's all you need to know, and the life doesn't become easy whatsoever. Quite the opposite, especially if you're at 51, like me. It's really at times, well, all the time. It's just like having to undo such a long life. And yeah, although I like to think that I am evolved enough, or evolved full stop, I always worked on myself. I always had that drive. That's I think I spoke to in the last video about. That's all I ever done. That's the only consistent thing I've done over and over again, is like kept self analyzing and kept self reflecting and all the rest. So, but still. So, and today I had an example of that, which I won't talk about in this video. I might talk about tomorrow, or once it kind of settles a little bit. But regarding this guide, writing this work that I have struggled to get motivated about for the last 2 months, and I thought I had to, because I kind of decided that's how important it was. The fact that my sacral kept saying no. It was such a solid no. I just could not get past it. I just couldn't move in that direction. And yesterday I basically decided not to do it. And it was like, I was giddy. Like, I was like, I mean, I don't know if you can relate to this, but I certainly have experienced this many times, when I decide to leave a job, and that isn't a wise decision. And by wise, I mean, conventionally wise, or where your, parents or friends or aunts, and usually older people would be like, oh, no, that's not, you don't want to lose that job. It pays well and it's a good job and all that old paradigm story. And anyway, and I was lucky enough always to kind of have a fallback somehow. I was never on the streets. I always had some kind of income, either through a partner or through parents or through savings or through just, yeah, or yeah, mainly kind of that. And those three. So anyway, until another job would come and I would take it and would be so excited about it. But like I say, there would always come a point, sooner or later, where I would just have enough of it. I just wouldn't be happy there, and more than happy would just become proper, more than just, sorry, not happy, it would be a proper drain on my life energy. And yeah, and then it would be a period of like, oh, should I, there's money obviously, and it's if it was, there were a couple of times when it was just horrifically hard, like I just literally couldn't sleep. I was like properly physically unwell. That was an easy one, relatively easy. But the others, it was kind of easy. The job was easy. It wasn't really such a big thing, but it was just like, I just knew I was wasting myself there. yeah, so that would have taken a bit longer to make the decision, the final step to leave, because it kind of wasn't taking a great toll on my life in a such an obvious way. And but each time in any of these scenario, whenever I decided and made the decision to go to leave, there would be such sense of like a relief and lightness, and oh, I can breathe again. And I just felt the skip in my step, and I was just energized again, and I was happy. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. That same feeling. It was so I decided, and I was like, that's it. I'm not gonna do it. And then yeah, because I was just it was not maybe an instant thing, but at least in terms of how I equated with these other experiences. But by the time I was in the bedroom, and by the time I went down, soon after that, I made the decision, went downstairs to the kitchen to either make food maybe or something, I can't remember now. And as I was sort of doing stuff there, I just remember feeling, I was just like, wow, this is like when I left jobs in the past and never regretted the decision because they were wrong for me. I mean, or just never regretted the decision. And that was like another nice confirmation that actually I made the right decision, even though up until that second. And it's still in a sense that it would have been a good money earner and long term, and I would have built something around it. Definitely, I get all that, but I just could not do it. It was not for me this time around. So I have a different plan now, which immediately feels so much more aligned, I suppose, because I'm feeling like such a rush of energy and motivation, and kind of like freeing of that stuckness. Yeah, getting unstuck. I properly got unstuck, and yeah, and it's like it's gonna be something. It's not for now. It's gonna be after, from November. I'll be doing that, and I will be just doing it, and I will be doing it my way, and I will be doing it as and when it comes to me, kind of inspiration wise, or that wave of energy to actually offer it, sort of thing. And it's just, oh my god, I just feel so relieved. So the lesson here, for me, was to sort of trust, and it's a big lesson for me because I never really been taught it properly in my life, and it's only been the last few years that I kind of started to take it far more seriously than ever before, and it still seemed so uh, like distant, like so out there, so far fetched. Maybe it's even a better word. And and yeah, this time I didn't even try to. I just was far more conscious of it and intention maybe about it, in the sense that I kept noticing and observing and witnessing me just being so down on this thing, and just so feeling down because my days are going by and I'm meant to be doing something I don't want to be doing, so I'm not doing it, and I'm doing just, I don't know, it's that horrible place of like you're not doing what you want to be doing, and you don't even know what you want to be doing because you're too worried about what you should be doing, but you don't want to do that. And it's that's what creates that horrible, like, yucky kind of, well, even not yucky, just stuck, like listless space that I kept talking about. And but I kept like, it's occasionally throughout, this, like, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe it was, um as I was sort of approaching the deadline. So I said overall 2 months definitely, but for the first month it was probably like, oh yeah, it's fine. I mean, and I was doing bits and bobs. I was researching, which is something I enjoyed doing anyway because I would be doing it for myself. And then yeah, it's when I started to kind of go, okay, now I need to start bringing all this together to write it. And I'm like, so that's kind of about 3 weeks, maybe even a month. But yeah, and then throughout that time, the second part of this sort of listlessness, where it really hit hard, I would periodically, cyclically, like come out for air, I suppose, and then go. And then I would sometimes feel that would be kind of that would feel like, a spark of motivation, a bit of light. I've come out for air, so everything feels a bit fresher. So it's like there was always that sense of like, oh, maybe now I can do it. And then it would literally within seconds would dissipate and go, and then I would just be like, just kind of be crushed actually. And then, but it would be quickly, I would be coming up with this, just trust, this is, you just can't push this, it's wrong to push it, and then I would go back to this trust piece, like a trust. And it's, people who I follow on social media talk about this daily, which helps, which is something I spoke about on another video about. You're the 5 people or the average of 5 people you surround yourself most with, or you spend your time most with. And they don't have to be real people. They can be, virtual people like you just follow on YouTube, Instagram, whatever your social platform is, Twitter, maybe even, whatever. And yeah, that's kind of you become the average of their vibration, and it's really all about the vibration and the beliefs and the values that they kind of vibrate and speak of and all that. So I've been hearing the trust the process, trust your gut and all this, human design language, trust your sacral response. And yeah, I trusted, and I arrived at this place where it's like, I just feel, God, why did it take me a month to decide that? God knows what I could have done. But I'm not gonna go there, at least not for long, not for too much, and not too often. Kind of shaming, right? That's certainly not helpful. But yeah, so I did what I thought it would be, just, no, you can't do that. Well, I could, and I did, and I feel great for it. And I just feel it really opened me up and opened this path forward. It's like now it's like a highway, almost like a motorway. Well, like a scenic one, and because I wouldn't like the other kind anyway. So, but it definitely feels like it can be a faster, more smoother. Yeah, no traffic lights, not stop and start. At least it feels like that. I'll be talking more about that as I go along on here, and that's it for today.